Alright, in this video I'm going to go over problem number 5 and 6. Both of these I had a number of questions on, particularly number 5, because the directions may not be exactly clear. And again, we're going to review tomorrow as well, and then Wednesday will be the test, and there'll be problems very similar to this on the test. So make sure, if you're not sure how to do these problems, that you ask in class before the test. We want to make sure you know how to do it before the test. Okay, so it says, which would provide a reasonable estimate for each product? Write the estimate beside the product. An estimate may be used more than once. So here are the different estimates. There's 3 of them. Notice there's 4 problems, but that's okay because an estimate may be used more than once. So we look at this first problem, and this is what was challenging for the students. If you look at this and we estimated that, that would be about 20, and that would be about 40. And then you look up here and you don't see 20 times 40 up here, and so a lot of students, this was confusing. Okay. Now, we do see a 40 though, and if you notice, 23 is pretty close to 25. So what they were using here, just like we looked at in problem number 2, is a compatible number. So they said, hey, 25 should be easy to work with, and it's closer to 23 than 20 is. So 25 is still a reasonable estimate, and it's going to give us a nice compatible number to multiply, because we can really think of this as 4 quarters, and then we just add our 0 behind. So in this box, you would write in that 25 times 40. Okay. Now these two are fairly self-explanatory. 31, that's about 30. 32 is about 30, so you would write 30 times 30. Here, 46 is about 50. 18 is about 20, so you'd write 50 times 20. Now down here, this was another one that caused a little trouble. So we have 39, well that's about 40, and 21, that's about 20, like we did on the last one, like we did on this one. But again, we don't have a 40 times 20 up here as one of our choices. So again, we do have a 40 though, and again, they wanted you to use that compatible number. Now the other reason this was kind of a tricky problem is they went out of order. But you got to remember that whenever you do multiplication, the order of the numbers in multiplication doesn't matter. So it's okay that they put the 40 second, and in our problem here, the 39 is first, which we would estimate to 40. That's okay. So you can still write in here 25 times 40 or 40 times 25. The order doesn't matter. But again, they're using that compatible number and saying, hey, 21 is also close to 25. So in this particular problem, they decided to use that compatible number. Okay, but remember, estimation isn't, it's just to get close to an answer so you have an idea of what the answer should be. And not everybody, every single time, is going to have the exact same estimation, and we talk about that in class too. But you should realize that 21, you could estimate it as 20 or 25. And so if they use 25, that's okay. You just know that that's, oh, okay, they use 25 instead of 20, and that's okay too, because that's a reasonable estimation. Excuse me. All right, let's go on to number 6. There are 26 baseball teams in the league. Each team has 18 players. Write a number sentence that will provide a reasonable estimate for the number of players in the league. Explain how you found your estimate. So a number sentence, basically, this is again one of those kind of vocabulary things. This is, a number sentence is just like an equation. Okay, we consider equations a number sentence. So we're doing estimating again. So 26 teams is about 30. Now again, if you use 25, that's a reasonable estimation as well, because we learned that in the last problem. 26, we can estimate it to be 25. If you know your quarters really well, then go for it. I would estimate that to be 25. But 30 is also a reasonable estimation. So either one of those answers is acceptable, 25 or 30 as the estimation for that. And then times 18 players, well, that's about 20. Okay. And if we wanted to write it out in that kind of sentence format, we could say 30 times 20 this way equals, and now we can do mental math to solve this. Okay, so 3 times 2, we can do that in our head, is 6, and then we add our 2 zeros just like we did on an earlier problem. And then now it's important to know what that 600 represents. Okay, is it 600 teams, or is it 600 players? Well, now here's where you got to think reasonable. What's reasonable? Would it make sense for the league to have 600 different baseball teams? Probably not. Yeah, and so we're dealing with 600 players in that league. So that number is 600 players. Okay. Explain how you found your estimate, and here's where you would just write in. I rounded 26 up to 30. I rounded 18 up to 20. So you would just write that out. First, I rounded 26, 30. I'm not using perfect grammatical English here, but that's okay in math, I guess. Teacher didn't say that. Next, I rounded, and you can see this is basically all they mean by explain your answer. Just write out exactly what you did here, put it into words. So if somebody wanted to know how you were doing it, if you were trying to teach a first grader what to do, you could explain each step to that first grader so they would understand. First, I rounded 26 to 30. Next, I rounded 18 to 20, and then I multiplied. Okay, so that's all they mean. It's nothing. It's not some really difficult explanation. Just explain what you did mathematically. Explain that in words. All right. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll continue on the next page.